We're the voices of experiencers, and we are the experiences with extraterrestrials.
I mean, we have to understand that, there's if life is infinite out there, there can obviously be green beans. There could be, I don't mean green beans you eat, but green beans.
I'm trying not to laugh.
And it could be blue, and it could be all kinds of different colored beans.
Right.
It's time for disclosure. It's time for truth, because truth brings powerful transformations.
The guy sees they were doing some sort of digging in the park. The beings had landed and they were just digging up some samples, and it seemed apparent that they weren't there to be visible. Somebody just happened to see them.
We're the voices of change and profound evolution.
And then, when I saw the blue guy walking through my mom's living room, or my mom's upstairs landing that time, I really felt like it wasn't intended for me to see that he just was passing through, and I happened to be looking in the right place, So I could feel like that. He was kind of saying that a lot of them, or at least these, come here to do things, like take care of business, do whatever they're doing, and they're not intending to interact with any of the life on the planet. They're doing something else. And I thought that interesting because, other than the brief thing I had that time, I never thought of it that way. I just assumed that every time they come here, they want us or something. But to think that they don't want any contact with any of us. They're just doing something else. It's interesting.
We're the bridge between two different worlds.
But I'm sure, I don't have doubts that there are beings that do want to heal our planet to help with their planet, to help with the entire universe. I'm not sure all beings are on that same page, so it'll be interesting to find out who they are.
Profound integration is coming.
This technology that we all have still now to this day, that was reverse technology. Now this is a very advanced object that surpasses that.
So it'll be placed into Earth to provide energy?
Yes, and they've had them hidden for a very long time, and it's time to take them out.
Now, what will use this energy?
We will all be using this energy.
So humanity will?
Yes.
What other kind of things will humanity be using?
There's going to be other objects that's going to be given to us during the right time of our ascension.
What will be the most important object?
The one that's been shown. This is to help us with energy source, to live more freely. But these energy sources are for very large groups.
Just who are extraterrestrials? Let's find out with the Voices of Contact.
We are the voices of experiencers because we are the experiencers. It's time for disclosure and it's time for truth because truth brings powerful transformation. We are the voices of change. We are about evolution on an expansive level, living life without fear and becoming the bridge between two different realities. Profound evolution is here. Profound integration is here. This is the Voices of Contact. Hi, everyone. I'm Mary. I'm a channeler and psychic medium. I'm also a hypnosis regressionist for ET experiencers, and I work with MUFON doing regression work. I also work with PTSD experiencers, paranormal experiencers, and victims of crime to assist them in recall. I'm really looking forward to another amazing show tonight with our panel. I just want to say to you guys that the work that you're doing here with me is so impactful. Like literally, it's life-changing. And I thank you for being a part of it and being here with me. It means more than you realize to me as well as the listeners. So allow me to introduce some of my most favorite people. First, we have Deb and RJ DeRoos. They're authors, paranormal UFO researchers, and they're experiencers themselves. And they also are the founders of the Michigan UFO Contact that happens every year in Houghton Lake, Michigan at the end of September. They're owners and managers of Mystical Awakenings Radio, Mystical Awakening Podcast on the YouTube channel, and at the Mystical Awakenings Metaphysical Store in Houghton Lake, Michigan. Next, we have the fabulous and well-loved Michael Carter. He is a lifetime UFO contactee, author of Alien Scriptures, Extraterrestrials, and the Holy Bible. He's also a regular consultant on the History Channel's Ancient Aliens series and the Travel Channel's UFO Lost Evidence series, as well as being featured in several UFO documentaries. Last but definitely not least, we have our amazing new panelist, Deborah Jordan Cabo. She was the central figure in Bud Hopkins' international bestseller, Intruders, The Incredible Visitations at Copley Woods, which was actually made into a CBS miniseries in 1992. She's co-author of the book Abducted, The Story of the Intruders Continues, and author of Extraordinary Contact, Life Beyond Intruders. She's a former Indiana MUFON investigator and co-founder of her own paranormal group, Paranormal Underground, and host of the Midwest Paratalk podcast. With the amazing panel that we have tonight, I know that anything is possible. And we are going to get down deep into discovery and answers to what's actually really happening out there. This show is all about transmutating the light from the dark and replacing fear with knowledge. Through my regression work, I have come across amazing cases with some amazing clients. It is my passion to work with them and to help them have a better understanding of the contact they've had. Whether they were taken, have had contact in the physical realm, or through a dream state. I'm grateful that my clients have agreed to allow me to use their regressions on the voices of contact. Tonight, this is the place to be because the panel breaks down the experiences, providing powerful feedback. I love it because all the listeners get to learn and connect, and the person that I regressed walks away even more immersed in the experience with a new perspective on their contact. Literally, it's a win-win, right? This is the Voices of Contact.
Hi, everyone. How are you guys tonight?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Good.
Great.
Just living the dream, not being tired. That's
Nice.
always good. So tonight we have one of our favorite people back, Bill Konkoleski. He's going to sit in for Michael Carter, who is on vacation.
Thank you.
So,
And he disappeared.
and he's
Well, you went invisible. There you are. How do you do that?
I swear that was not on purpose.
He's
And
magic.
I don't know what made that happen.
I want to know so I can do it. It looks cool.
I could-
funniest thing ever.
I could tell you, I have a webcam plugged in that's better than my computer's, like built-in webcam, and sometimes it'll just automatically switch to my laptop webcam, which is blocked by the camera I set on top of it. So then the camera can't see me, but it still has my background. Makes for a good blooper reel.
Yeah. It's quite cool.
It was
He
funny.
was abducted.
It was perfect timing, actually. He's like, nope, I'm not. Just kidding. I'm gone. So for tonight's regression, this gentleman, he was walking through a state park, and he walks down the trail, then he finds himself on a beach, and he's laying on the beach, and all of a sudden he sees this swirling white light, and it keeps on getting closer. And then all of a sudden, through the white light, he sees two ETs emerge. So let me play the first one here.
I'm seeing this light that's coming to me. It looks almost like a shell of a snail that goes in a circular form, and it's getting closer to me. It's like blocking me from seeing anything beyond it.
But then what happens with the light?
I believe there's two beings that are here. And one is very, very green. I can't even, they look very strange, kind of intimidating in a sense, but nothing to fear from him. He's coming up to me, raising his hand, telling me that it's fine, not there to harm. The other one is not stopping. He's just walking towards me. And I'm just laying there, kind of frozen.
Did he actually say it was green?
Yeah, I thought that was odd too. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to wrap my head around that. I mean, you hear the little green men and all that, but
Well, typically you hear it when they're children and they had that conscious memory, you know, that association with what they've always seen on TV. But I've never
Right.
heard it because this wasn't when he was a child. This was just like recently.
Well, but reptilians are essentially green, right?
Yeah, some of them are, yes.
okay. Yeah, just I'm trying to visualize that. Okay. Well, that would make more sense to me then.
And now what Bill just said, the audience is going to want to now stay tuned to next week's episode, which is the same regression. And ET actually comes through on that.
Oh, so we will
So-
find out. Okay.
There's more to come.
So Mary, when did this happen? Is there a time frame on this?
I would say in the last 2 years, because he didn't give a time frame, but this was more recent than he just started recently having, not necessarily having the experiences, but starting to remember them. The more he started to meditate, the more things started to come through, and he would start having little clips and visions and memories that started to just come through for him. And that's what really got him into wanting to finally explore what he was seeing and what he was experiencing.
Okay.
So there was a white light that was spiraling. Is that what he said, everybody? Did you hear that?
Yeah.
It was spiraling? Okay. And then they walked out of this white light, right? Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, you know, we have to understand that, you know, there's if life is infinite out there, there could obviously be green beans, or there could be I don't mean green beans you eat, but green
I'm
beans.
trying not to laugh.
And you know, it could be blue, and it could be all kinds of different color beans. You know, so
Right.
you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
possibilities are infinite.
Just that the human brain, you know, I have to try to visualize what he's seeing, and that threw me because all I could see is the little green men. And the cool part, he didn't seem to be fearful. In fact, I think he said there's nothing to be afraid of. So I'm wondering, you know, if he's had other experiences with those same beings.
And that will come up in the next couple of clips. But from my take with working with him, he's never really had any fear so much. Like you know, he has studied the is it the CE5? Is that what it's called? Where, you know, he's worked with trying to call them in and connect. So I feel like he comes from more of an open-minded base than a fear-based set with that.
Yeah, he's trying to make conscious contact,
Yes.
inviting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not to jump in too much on this because it's definitely a tangent, but I'm more of a traditionalist with the CE5 definition being a healing or an injury. That was Valet's original CE5 classification, which is as old as at least 1990. And, I'm all down with the human initiated part. It's just I always knew a CE5 to be what Valet called it.
Okay.
Yeah, good. I mean, good
That's
that you're
two. Do
sharing
you have
that.
anything?
No, I just the same thing about with the green.
It is kind of odd, isn't
Yeah.
it? So with this next clip, I have him ask, who are they and what they're doing there.
Can you ask them who they are?
One looked at me. There's 3 of them. One's looking at me and giving me almost like a feeling that he does not want to talk to me. I'm turning to the other one, and that one is kind of showing me another being, their creator. They're telling me that they came here to Earth to help Earth not be sick. All they're doing is trying to help heal her, and their technology is just to help keep her alive. And they are only here just to help out. And their makers come from a very far solar system. And they volunteered to come here and help this whole solar system.
So with this, basically, they've come to Earth, and he just happens to be on this beach, and they're digging for objects that they've created that are specifically made for Earth.
Now he says, did he say something about helping her?
Mother Earth.
Oh, Mother
I-
Earth. Okay, he's talking
I
about Mother Earth. I was thinking it was
believe.
somebody that wasn't a person. But yeah, Mother
Were
Earth.
the objects created by them and planted by them to help the Earth, and now they're coming back to get the objects?
It delves a little bit more deep into on the next clips, but it's more that the objects were made to, like, it helps with their planets and it runs their crafts, but it also helps Mother Earth. So they're coming back for it to get things ready.
Oh, okay.
So now I want to know what those objects are.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
What is that? What are
What
they digging
is
up?
it? What
And can I
is
go to a beach and dig some up? No.
it? Right.
Just like crystals.
Yeah.
Can you put them in your pocket?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I have no doubt. I'm sure, everybody has their own feelings on it, but I have no doubt that there are Morse codes going on or something.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
It's going to be a strange one tonight, folks.
And where is
And Bill disappeared again. Oh, completely. Not just his persona, but his entire screen.
His background,
Hey.
too. Yeah.
But I'm sure, I don't have doubts that there are beings that do want to heal our planet to help with their planet, to help with the entire universe. I'm not sure all beings are on that same page. So it'll be interesting to find out who they are.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting that like you said, he kind of happened to be there. So did they purposely allow him to be in on this?
Yeah, they had to, because if we know ET, if they didn't want him to see them,
Yeah.
he wouldn't
They
have.
probably do by looking, his aura, frequency, whatever, that he was cool with it. He was be okay with it. But we have to understand that Mother Earth is a sentient being herself, and that literally that we've got to think that it actually was helping this sentient being, this planet, whatever they were trying to find. So, because not only do we evolve, hopefully Mother Earth evolves too. So,
Right.
and so yes, I mean, I've heard people comment that they can go by a planet, they can just look at the frequency of it and see what stage it's in, what level of intelligence is going on there, what where they're at as far as their evolution, just by getting this information that they are, that they know, and they have the right equipment to do it.
Yeah, it's all pretty interesting. I mean, obviously, if he's trying to make conscious contact, if he's really working toward communicating and all of it, he must feel incredibly blessed
I would say so.
to be able to witness that. So yeah, this isn't one of those cases where, someone just was taken aboard a ship and, is fearful. This is totally, completely different.
Yeah, this is more one of the positive ones where it shows the more positive light. Like you said, Dad, there are some who don't have good intentions for us, but there are some who are out there wanting to raise our vibration and help us evolve.
Right.
And it sounds like he's making contact with those.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I wondered what they had was working with the grid work on the planet too. I'm just getting this, that maybe it's has something to do with the grid work.
Yeah.
Okay, so for this next one, we move forward a little bit, and I tap into the subconscious because I want to dig a little bit deeper to exactly what this ET is and what they're doing with the object.
You do. Thank you for that. Can you tell me more about the beings that we saw on the beach?
Those beings came to have a purpose. He was just at the right place at the right time. He met them, and they are very rare to come across.
Has he ever had contact with them before?
No. It was the one and only time. Those beings are not to come here to socialize. They're here for business only. And it was just during the moment they needed what was underground close to where he was, and they couldn't have anybody around for that moment.
What kind of ET species are they?
They have a very long frequency in their name. I don't think the language can give the name to that.
He reappeared.
Yay. I like that. He said that when he asked him, or when he asked the name, that it was very long frequency and that we wouldn't be able to speak it, because I had that similar thing happen with me when I asked one of them what their name was, and they said I would not be capable of pronouncing it in a way that would make any sense. So it wasn't speakable in my language, or as a human. So I got that. And there goes Bill again. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, that was. I mean, it's it in some way he's saying that he was just in the right place at the right time, right?
Yeah, that's what I got.
But I wonder if he was supposed to be there. So I wonder if he was meant to see this, and It's a possibility.
I agree. And even Mary said too, if they didn't want to be seen by him, they wouldn't have been, or that wouldn't have happened. So in his mind, maybe he's saying, I got really lucky and was able to witness this, but maybe luck had nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
And then, when I saw the blue guy walking through my mom's living room or my mom's upstairs landing that time, I really felt like it wasn't intended for me to see that he just was passing through and I happened to be looking in the right place, So I could feel like that. He was kind of saying that a lot of them, or at least these, come here to do things like take care of business, do whatever they're doing. And they're not intending to interact with any of the life on the planet. They're doing something else. And I thought that interesting because, other than the brief thing I had that time, I never thought of it that way. I just assumed that every time they come here, they want us or something. But to think that they don't want any contact with any of us. They're just doing something else. It's interesting.
Yeah. Recon work. Yeah.
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 Well, they say that some they just come here to do work and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember that first story from Missing Time, where the guy sees they were doing some sort of digging in the park. The beings had landed and they were just digging up some samples, and it seemed apparent that they weren't there to be visible. Somebody just happened to see them.
Yeah.
Do you think, Bill, that if they didn't want to be seen, though, they could have stopped that?
Probably. That's an assumption. I'm guessing we're dealing with all sorts of different levels of technology.
Right.
And by now they probably have some sort of assessment, like, how many times can they be seen before it's an issue, or in what sort of circumstance. And they probably if somebody happens to see me, it doesn't matter. Nobody will believe them anyway. That sort of thing. Or maybe they have some chart that has, 30 days without being seen, and then I got to reset it. But
Right.
Yeah. Well, this is in 15 BC, 1500 BC, because there's a lot more people here now. The chance of being seen is a lot more now. So
Right.
Everybody's got cell phones too.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe their time is different than our time.
Right.
Maybe our decade is like a minute to them.
That could be.
I don't know.
So they
There
better
I go.
redo their charts. Huh? Yeah.
I wonder if they get a pay,
All right.
I wonder if they get a pay cut for that, Bill.
let's see your assessment, your performance assessment for the year. You're seen twice.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Their quota. So for this next one, this talks more about what the object is and why the ETs are there to gather it.
How much contact has had with ET beings?
He's had quite a few, but a lot of them were not too important. We show him these beings because the object that they are getting was important.
What's so important about it?
These were creations that he helped create in another life. And these objects are very important for the future of Earth, because these are objects that will be used in our near future as the human race.
So the objects were in the ground he had helped create?
In another life, yes.
Was he this type of species in another lifetime then?
No, he was not that species, but he was one that helped create that.
What species was he in a past life?
He was another gray-like being. many years in the future of what you would have in this timeline.
So this life was in the future?
Yes.
Okay, so this is where it gets odd, and this is the part that actually made him go down a little bit of a rabbit hole after he listened to it, because a little bit further into that, the explanation was that his future self is now a walk-in. So it's like that everything is coming together, and he's supposed to help with this object, with projects that are coming up with that everybody's partaking in with the work that we're doing. Everybody has a different role. Everybody has a different job in the part they're playing for humanity and for Earth. So this part kind of blew his mind, and I still think he's having a hard time wrapping his head around that concept of, that parallel universe and future selves and past selves coming together for, a certain purpose in life.
Yeah. I mean, it does sound odd, but at the same time to us, I mean, about 7 years ago, we did some, I do a lot of past life regression work, and we thought, okay, Barry, one of the people on our team, said, what if you guys did future work?
Progression.
So we said, okay, we're going to do some progression work and see how that goes. And it was pretty mind-blowing how many people we actually did it at the Flower of Life with a whole huge group, but how many people actually saw themselves as ET beings and doing work to help the planets.
And some of them were in the same place, weren't they?
Right.
Yeah, they describe the same things.
So, I mean, it's, mind-boggling, but at the same time, in some crazy way, makes sense. If that makes any
Definitely
sense.
a different concept.
Yeah.
And I do have to say, I was totally caught up in that artwork. It was gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. But it gave me the sense of E.T. healing a human, but also being one with them. Like it was the same, a part of themselves.
So, Mary, I'm going to ask you this. I mean, are we going to hear clips in the future from this guy that is going to explain more about this encounter? I mean, as far as, I wonder if he is seeing this, they're letting him know that you're going to be doing this in the future.
Yeah, that's where they're leading up to.
Okay.
And for our next episode, it'll talk all about that.
Okay, I'm
then we
getting
also
that. That's
have-
going to happen. That's why he was there. He said, "This is the kind of work you're going to be doing in the future."
Or maybe you're
Well,
already doing it. The future is now.
Yeah, well, that's true.
Yes. Yep. That's what's coming up for him. And I think that was what's important about him seeing the object that they're using.
So I still want to know what those are. What did they have buried?
Basically, I don't think he ever described exactly the shape of it. I would have to listen back to the regression again. But it's just a large object that was round. It was, the way he described it was probably like this big, that they will use on their crafts to power their crafts, but it also generates, I guess, what would you call it, the electromagnetic field? So it generates that for Earth.
Nice.
So it's like RJ was saying, it forms a grid to power the Earth.
Yeah, because if you make the grid a different frequency, it's going to affect us physically and change us physically and change us emotionally and spiritually as that energy is beefed up.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So in this last one, this is the last clip all about that object and exactly what they're going to be using it for.
This is technology that we all have still now to this day that was reverse technology. Now this is a very advanced object that surpasses that.
So it'll be placed into Earth to provide energy?
Yes, and they've had them hidden for a very long time, and it's time to take them out.
Now, what will use this energy?
We will all be using this energy.
So humanity will?
Yes.
What other kind of things will humanity be using?
There's going to be other objects that's going to be giving to us during the right time of our ascension.
What will be the most important object?
The one that's been shown. This is to help us with energy source to live more freely. But these energy sources are for very large groups.
Like cities, like whole cities can be, provided energy by with one of these spheres. That's what I get in my head when I hear him talking about that.
Sounds almost like a big generator in a sense.
Or something that's harnessing the electromagnetic field of the earth and collecting it up like a battery, like there's giant batteries been placed.
Like Tesla was working on,
Yeah. Free energy being picked up and stored.
exactly. And you can imagine that somebody does not want this to happen because
Well, of course not.
they're making a lot of
figure out
money.
a way to charge
They're
it.
making a lot of money out these wires running by here, but
Yeah.
but that's it's got to happen. It has to happen if we are going to evolve. We have to have new forms of energy, free energy, and that's why I really feel in the future. The Star Trek thing, when nobody works for money, you just do something you'd love to do.
And you work for credits, like
Yeah.
the good things that you did, you get a credit for.
Yeah, and just you do things you love to do.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just work for macaroni and cheese.
Yeah, that's good.
There you
Yeah,
go.
there you go. So
My favorite.
well, we're gonna have to get it out of a replicator. So
I'll work for peanut butter.
yeah, I'm with you, Bill. Peanut butter's good.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
so I think it's coming. We just have to grasp it. The hardest thing is to tell people, no, you're not going to be working for money anymore. I mean, that's so hard for people to not to grasp.
Especially the ones that have a whole bunch of it.
Yeah, so
They're not going to want to give it up.
yeah, and this is the sticking point for us evolving. Come on, people.
All the material stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's eye-opening for sure.
It definitely is, makes you think, and it makes you wonder if this is something that, if it's really going to, if it is happening, if it is going to make a very slow difference, you know what I mean, over years, or will all of a sudden things be different here?
I'm thinking it's going to be a little quicker than we're ready for. I don't know.
Maybe it's already happening, and
Yeah.
that's where
Yeah.
when people talk about being tired, that something just feels off.
Mhm.
Maybe it's already happening.
Yeah.
People just aren't aware of it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I think there's a lot of things already happening, and I fully feel that it's not all human happenings, that we have to be getting, some assistance from elsewhere. But how long? That's the human side of me. How long is this going to take? If it's going to happen, how long is it going to take? But I'm a weirdo.
Yeah, I think it's an individual thing. It's
That's because we don't like to wait for shit, right?
Right.
Yeah.
We just want it. We want it now.
Right.
Like instant gratification.
the American way.
Well, you
You
know,
want answers now.
I'm one of those people. I grew up without cell phones and a microwave and all,
Mhm.
you know, all the hurry up stuff. You know, when I was a kid, we actually had to get up out of our seat and turn a knob on the television for a different channel. So, you know,
Right.
to me, all this stuff is still new. So trying to grasp that it could all evolve tremendously from there.
Well, just think about from then until now, it has
Oh,
evolved
yeah.
immensely.
And
so,
where did all that information come from to begin with?
from your cell phone.
You know, it was
Computer.
kind of like, you know, we had none of this stuff, and all of a sudden overnight we had it all.
Well, so there's this sort of concept, right, that you hear about quite often, that in the pure consciousness or spirit form, things happen very quickly, maybe even instantaneously. And here on the physical plane, things drag on much longer to be able to manifest things. Maybe we're just in touch with that part of ourselves that is in that sort of consciousness level where we understand that things could be instantaneous. And so therefore we're agitated, like, you know, I'm used to things being instantaneous. But now I gotta actually, you know, make my own food. You know, this is a drag.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense, Bill. I mean, I remember when microwaves came out, and I said, "Oh my, that's horrible. That's
I'm like,
horrible.
we were
I will
scared to
never
wear 'em."
use one."
Yeah.
I didn't have one for years.
Yeah, we didn't
Um,
either. We were afraid of them.
Yeah, computers. I would no way. You know, my son wanted to bring one into the house to do schoolwork on, and I said, "Are you out of your mind? We're not. No. Finally talked me into it, and I said, "Okay, but no internet. Bad
Yeah.
things happen with internet." Yeah.
Well, imagine the person
Yeah.
that's riding
Oh,
a
okay.
horse back in the day, and then all of a sudden these cars come by. They're saying the same thing. I remember if we wanted to go to the next town, it took us a couple days, not a couple hours. You know.
Right.
Are you saying, RJ, that you remember before cars?
Well, you know, I think I do. Not this
He's
lifetime,
really old.
but yeah, because you know the same thing can be said for a lot of things. You know, as technology has evolved, but it's really, if you think about what you said, it has happened very quickly on this planet.
It has.
It has evolved very quickly. Last 150 years.
Yeah, it really has.
Yeah, 150 years. It's amazing.
I mean, there's
And
as much
since 1947, it's really evolved really quick. I'm telling you.
There's as much technology right here,
Yeah.
or more technology right here in my hand than sent the first rocket ships to space.
Well, in Star Trek, they had that little thing you open up, you talk on, and now everybody's
Hey, guess
got one.
what? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I watch those episodes now and I see the doors open automatically and then
They
people
do that,
walking
yeah.
down the hall doing this. And I'm like,
Yeah.
that's normal everyday stuff now. It wasn't
Right.
in 1965 though.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, in 1965, it was like, wow,
Yeah.
what is that? So,
That's
I think I
magic.
saw a meme this morning that was about, what is it, the Jetson family?
Yeah, probably.
And how they predicted the future, and it was showing like FaceTiming and then Zoom business calls. And I'm like, I guess if you think about it that way. Yeah.
Yeah, but I want to know where my
Dr.
flying
Paul.
car is, though. I always depended on the Jetsons to make sure I had a flying car when
Yeah.
I
I
heard
was growing
Japan's
up.
got one now. Like they just made one that you can buy, so it flies.
I'll be out there.
Yeah, think about it. That's a way to introduce it to a cartoon, because we think, it's just a cartoon. But they were real. They were right. That's what they did. You know, that's what we did.
Yeah, and they would talk on the phone and
Yeah.
actually see the person they were talking to.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
But those cartoons, they were written by people,
Exactly.
and they were written by people that maybe had a glimpse of the future
Yeah.
because maybe they had visitors from the future or from somewhere else,
What year did
So-
Dick Tracy come out? Had the video on the wrist, your wristwatch.
Yeah, I got
Oh,
that.
Yeah,
that was
you
a
go.
long time ago.
Yeah, you got one, right? So,
Yeah.
Call down giant robot.
yeah.
That's next.
I just want a steak dinner. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
that's
pretty
great.
intriguing. I mean, the information that he's getting is definitely, I mean, this is definitely a little different than a lot of the other regressions that we get to hear. And it's pretty positive. But
There's more of a positive spin to it, yeah.
right. It doesn't make sense, but it does all at the same time.
Well, it's good to be different sometimes, right? Well, we're already different.
No, I love it.
But,
I
yeah.
love it because it does talk about technology that I think is very plausible and going to happen. So I think our future.
Well, think about some of the things we already have. Where'd that technology come from?
Yeah.
Well, like Deb said, right there, you know,
Yeah.
I would have never dreamt ever that I would be carrying basically a computer in my pocket.
Yeah.
Yeah. Once we establish
Exactly it.
a colony on other planets and the moon or whatever, we're going to have technology that'll reach that far. You can just get on the phone and call there.
I just want to teleport somewhere.
That's what I'm waiting on because
Yeah.
I hate
Like,
driving.
you know, when it's time to go to bed,
Michigan, here I come.
Yes. Yeah. See, it's like instantaneously.
That's
No
it.
more sitting in an airport for several hours, huh?
Well, you know, as I have a fear of flying, and so does she. People are going to have a fear of transporting because my molecule is going to get mixed up.
I have a fear of riding in a driverless car more than I have if you're going to mix my molecules up, mix them up with somebody like Taylor Swift or something. So I get some good parts,
For sure. For sure.
All right. Well, that's all that we have for tonight's show. So a big thank you to Bill for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Yay.
Great having you here, Bill.
Looking forward to seeing you this weekend.
Mhm.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we have a lease car. We got too many miles on it. We can't drive down there.
And we will see everyone next week.
Same time, same place.
Good night.
Good night,
Good night.
everybody.
Have a good night,
Thank
you guys.
We're the voices of experiencers, and we are the experiences with extraterrestrials.
I mean, we have to understand that, there's if life is infinite out there, there can obviously be green beans. I don't mean green beans you eat, but green beans.
Try not to laugh.
And it could be blue, and it could be all kinds of different colored beans.
Right.
It's time for disclosure. It's time for truth, because truth brings powerful transformations.
The guy sees they were doing some sort of digging in the park. The beings had landed and they were just digging up some samples, and it seemed apparent that they weren't there to be visible. Somebody just happened to see them.
We're the voices of change and profound evolution.
And then, when I saw the blue guy walking through my mom's living room or my mom's upstairs landing that time, I really felt like it wasn't intended for me to see that he just was passing through and I happened to be looking in the right place, So I could feel like that. He was kind of saying that a lot of them, or at least these, come here to do things, like take care of business, do whatever they're doing. And they're not intending to interact with any of the life on the planet. They're doing something else. And I thought that interesting because, other than the brief thing I had that time, I never thought of it that way. I just assumed that every time they come here, they want us or something. But to think that they don't want any contact with any of us. They're just doing something else. It's interesting.
We're the bridge between two different worlds.
But I'm sure, I don't have doubts that there are beings that do want to heal our planet to help with their planet, to help with the entire universe. I'm not sure all beings are. on that same page. So it'll be interesting to find out who they are.
Profound integration is coming.
This is technology that we all have still now to this day that was reverse technology. Now this is a very advanced object that surpasses that.
So it'll be placed into Earth to provide energy.
Yes, and they've had them hidden for a very long time, and it's time to take them out.
Now, what will use this energy?
We will all be using this energy.
So humanity will?
Yes.
What other kind of things will humanity be using?
There's going to be other objects that's going to be given to us during the right time of our ascension.
What will be the most important object?
The one that's been shown. This is to help us with energy source, to live more freely. But these energy sources are for very large groups.
Just who are extraterrestrials? Let's find out with the Voices of Contact.